Welcome back to another video tutorial brought to you by thevirtualinstructor.com. We're going to be drawing a face in profile or from the side. So I'm going to begin my drawing by drawing a circle. Remember, you want to draw your circle with your shoulder, not with your wrist. And then I'm going to bring a line straight down from that, and you'll notice that line is curved. And then I'll bring it back up again for the bottom of the chin, and I'll draw two lines for the edges of the neck. Next, we need to decide where our eyes are going to go, and your eyes are actually in the middle of your head, so we're going to draw an eye line in the middle of the shape that we've just drawn. Then we'll drop down halfway from that, and we'll draw a line for the nose line, and then we'll drop halfway down again and draw a line for the mouth line. Now I'm going to start defining the edge of the side of my face, so I'm just going to draw down using my guidelines, and then my nose is going to come out here. I'll bring it back into the front edge of the face. I'll make a little bit of a curved line for the part right underneath the nose where it meets the lips. And the top lip is going to protrude out a little bit. And the bottom lip is actually going to be a little bit further inside towards the head. And it's going to come down with a diagonal line like you see here. Then that line will go in just a little bit and out just a little bit again for the bottom part of the chin. Now I'm going to go back to my eye line, and I'm going to drop a little bit inside of the shape that I've drawn to hide my eyes. Now remember, if you want your drawing to look representational, you need to have something that you're looking at. In this case, I have a photograph that I'm using as a reference. But drawing from life is always better than that. So if you can get somebody to pose for you, that'd be great. So I've drawn the top part of my eye, the bottom part of my eye. I'm just going to add a little bit of indication of some eyelashes underneath there. And I'm paying attention to the values that are in my photograph and the shapes that are in my photograph. And I'm trying to mimic those shapes and values as best as possible. So I'm going to put a little bit of an eyebrow over the top of those eyes. I'm going to draw a little flap for the nose here. And I'm going to define my nostril just a bit. And I'm keeping in mind my guidelines that I drew at the beginning. Now, I'm getting down here to the lips, and since the top lip hangs over the top, it's going to be darker in value, so you're going to add a little bit of shadow to that. There's still going to be a little bit of value to the bottom lips, but it's not as strong as what we see on the top lip. And then, of course, our eyes recede back into the eye sockets, and so we're going to have to add a little bit of value around that just to make it look believable. We don't want the eyes to look like they're stuck on there. Now I'm going to prepare to put my ears on, and the ears actually extend out from the back of the eye line. They'll come up just a little bit, and in this case the ears are going to exist right in the middle of the original shape that I drew, and you'll see that it goes all the way down to the nose line. So that's a good indication for you to use to make sure that you're getting the ears the right shape, not too big or not too small. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adding some of the hair. Now you'll notice that the hair comes off of the head. It's never stuck to the head. So you're going to need to let it come off just a bit. And I'm just going to bring the hairline down to the ears and then around the back of the ears. In this case, this is a female that I'm drawing, so I'm going to give her some longer hair. Ahead and add a little bit of value on the side of the head to make the head look like it's three-dimensional. Keep in mind that there are cheekbones, and wherever there are cheekbones, they're going to protrude, so they're going to be lighter in value, and the areas around those cheekbones might be a little bit darker. And of course, since our light source is coming from above, it's going to be a little bit darker underneath the neck. Now, depending on your light source, if you have a really strong light source, your contrast between your values, your darks and lights, are going to be extreme. So you're going to have some super dark darks and some super light lights. Same can be said if your light source is not as strong, you're not going to have as much contrast between those values. I'm going to kind of work those values all around the face at the same time so I don't get too dark in one area. Remember, it's always a good idea to start light and slowly get darker, because it's easier to make things darker than it is to make things lighter once that they're too dark. Add a little bit of value underneath the nose. Since the nose protrudes out, there's going to be some shadow underneath it. And around the edges of the nose as well. I'll make those eyebrows just a little bit darker so that there's enough contrast for you to see them. Now I'm going to start adding some of the details to the hair, and you'll notice I'm not drawing individual strands of hair. Instead, I'm just drawing big, bold lines. These lines are going to translate into hair without having to draw individual strands of hair. And I'll go back into those and add little pockets of value so their hair looks a little bit more realistic. Lighter hair, of course, is going to have a few areas where you have those dark lines, where darker hair is going to have more of those areas. In this case, again, I'm trying to draw very loosely. Trying to get the information about the hair in as quickly as possible without sacrificing quality in this case. Alright, I'm going to go back and make my contrast between my values a little bit stronger. This would be a good indication of where you would need to stop with your value if your light source is not a very strong light source. For this drawing, I'm making a stronger light source, so I'm going to continue to work the values a little bit. And again, I'm going quickly at this drawing, so you might see some lines that happen in the value that I'm putting around the face. If I were to work a little bit slower, I would take my time and make sure that my transitions between value is smooth. Maybe there's a little bit of hair on the other side of the face as well. So whenever you're drawing a face from profile, just remember, start with a circle, bring the line down from the circle, and remember it needs to be a curved line. Your eye line is going to be in the middle of that shape that you draw, and then your nose line will be in between your eye line and the bottom of your chin. Then your mouth line will be in between your nose line and the bottom of your chin. Get these proportions correct, you can't go wrong when you're drawing a face from the profile. So good luck to you. I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial brought to you by thevirtualinstructor.com.